Welcome to Seeds of Thought. Today I want to discuss why your life feels off, even when nothing is wrong, and how default living quietly destroys momentum. You see, nothing is wrong with you, but something has been quietly stealing your life. Not violently, not dramatically, not in a way that triggered alarms. It's been happening slowly enough that you adapted to it. You still wake up, you still show up, you still function. But if you're honest, something essential has thinned out. Your edge, your direction, your internal authority. And what makes this unsettling isn't that things are broken. It's that nothing feels urgent enough to fix. You've been moving, but you haven't been deciding. Most people don't realize what's happening until years later, when they look back and feel the quiet shock of time gone missing. Not stolen by failure, not destroyed by catastrophe, just surrendered, one unattended day at a time. That's what this is about. Because here's the truth most people never hear clearly enough. Most people aren't failing, they're sleepwalking. And sleepwalking feels normal while it's happening. You wake up and reach for your phone without choosing to. You move through your day responding instead of directing. You stay busy, but the busyness doesn't build anything that lasts. You end most days tired, but not fulfilled. Stimulated, but not satisfied. There's mental smog in your head, a constant interference signal you can't quite shut off. Too many inputs, too little clarity, too much motion with no meaningful traction. You tell yourself you'll focus when things slow down. You'll get disciplined when motivation returns. You'll get serious when the timing finally feels right. But underneath all of that is a quieter thought you don't say out loud. I know I'm capable of more than this. That thought doesn't scream. It waits, and the longer it waits, the heavier it gets. Here's the brutal truth, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Life doesn't fall apart because you failed. It deteriorates because you stopped deciding. Left alone, nothing stays sharp. Nothing stays aligned. Nothing stays strong. This isn't mindset talk, it's reality. Entropy pulls everything toward disorder. Inertia keeps you repeating yesterday. Repetition wires identity, whether you're conscious of it or not. If you don't choose your direction, your environment chooses it for you. If you don't guard your attention, it gets harvested. If you don't install structure, chaos doesn't ask permission. Default is not neutral. Default decays. That's why discipline feels heavy to people who've been sleepwalking. Not because discipline is harsh, but because drift was comfortable. And comfort always collects interest. Discipline isn't punishment. Structure isn't confinement. Control isn't something you stumble into one day when life finally cooperates. Control is constructed, brick by brick, decision by decision, day by day. The shift happens when you realize something simple and dangerous. You don't need a breakthrough. You need an anchor. Most people are waiting to feel motivated before they act, but motivation is a response, not a requirement. Clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from choosing something small and doing it long enough that your nervous system remembers what authority feels like. The moment you decide, even imperfectly, something stabilizes inside you. Your posture changes, your internal dialogue quiets, your self-respect begins to return, because self-trust isn't built by intention, it's built by follow-through. This is where control actually begins, not with a dramatic overhaul, not with a declaration you post online, but by reclaiming ownership of the smallest repeatable moments in your day, what you let into your mind first thing in the morning, what you touch before you're fully awake, whether your body moves or stagnates. Whether the day has direction or urgency decides for you. These aren't productivity tactics. They're identity signals. Every small decision casts a vote for the person you are becoming. When you choose intention over reaction, even once, autopilot cracks. When you repeat that choice, momentum stabilizes. When stability becomes predictable, authority returns. This is the movement from sleepwalking to direction to design. And here's what most people underestimate. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You sink to the level of your systems. The system you're living inside right now was either designed intentionally or inherited accidentally. And accidental systems always rot. So the real question isn't, do I have potential? You already know that answer. The real question is, am I living in a way that honors what I know about myself? Because there is a version of you listening right now that recognizes this instantly, not emotionally, physically. The version of you that knows you weren't built to live scattered, that you're capable of sustained focus, that when you decide, You become relentless. That version doesn't need hype. It needs permission. Permission to stop negotiating with distractions. Permission to stop waiting for perfect conditions. Permission to become quietly dangerous to anything that wastes your time. This isn't about becoming extreme. It's about becoming exact. Exact with your attention. Exact with your standards. Exact with what you allow to repeat. Because identity isn't who you think you are. It's who your days prove you to be. And the moment you accept that fully, something locks in. You stop chasing motivation. You stop outsourcing responsibility. You stop hoping clarity will arrive someday. You start installing it. A simple daily anchor. A non-negotiable moment of order. A small structure that says, this is who I am now. Not loudly, not performatively, just consistently. And consistency restores dignity. Here's the truth most people don't hear until it's too late. Time doesn't warn you when it's leaving. It doesn't ask permission. It just goes. But here's the part that matters. You don't need to fix your whole life. You just need to stop letting it run without you. The moment you reclaim authorship, even in one area, decay slows. Momentum doesn't explode. It stabilizes. And stability is powerful because from stability, you build direction. From direction, you build identity. From identity, success becomes inevitable, not chased. This isn't motivation. It's orientation. And once you see it, sleepwalking is no longer possible. So let this be the line. Not a promise, not a surge of emotion, just a quiet final decision. I don't live on default anymore. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to prove it. Your days will speak. And once they do, going back to sleep is no longer an option.